Like many others, I love Minecraft. It's a game I've played for over half my life, and while I've done pretty much everything the game has to offer, the one thing I always end up coming back to is survival mode. I mean, we've all heard of the 2-week Minecraft phase. It's just a lot of fun to get a group of friends together like once a year and check out the new Minecraft update. But as new updates repeatedly come out, one thing I've noticed is that the way people play the game has changed a lot. Minecraft used to be about just chilling, building a house, harvesting resources, maybe you'll build a little wheat farm. Now most players are rushing elytras, building big ass farms to have infinite of whatever thing they need to make their enormous mega base. I get it. Some of the bases and farms people come up with are super sick, and flying in this game is fun as hell. People can play and enjoy the game however they want. I don't care. The reason I bring this up is because when the game promotes this kind of playstyle by adding things like the elytra, shulker boxes, and bigger world gen, a lot of items and features get left in the dust. For example, why the hell would this guy get a camel? Does he need a camel to get around? Also, anytime a new feature is added that can't be mass farmed or solve some sort of problem, you best believe that shit is gonna be obliterated by every person in the community. Once again, I totally understand why. It can seem like a waste of time for Mojang to spend their resources adding something that doesn't really have much depth. Personally though, the way I enjoy playing this game, messing around and exploring some of these mechanics is one of my favorite things to do in survival mode. So, in this video, I want to highlight some of my favorite useless Minecraft features. What they do, how to get them, and why I consider them useless in the first place. So, with all that being said, let's get started. The first feature I want to talk about is the horse. Now, you could argue that horses aren't entirely useless, however they are completely outclassed by the elytra, so I'm talking about them anyways. Horses can spawn randomly in plains and savanna biomes, and they are, as far as I know, the only mob that spawns with varying stats. Their health can range from 7.5 hearts to 15 hearts, speed from about 5 blocks per second to 14 blocks per second, and jump height from about 1.5 blocks to 5 blocks. Once tamed, horses can be equipped with a saddle in order to control them, and the 4 different types of horse armor. Also, gold horse armor is stronger than iron horse armor, so that's kinda interesting. Now, if you have some fat ass horse with no armor, obviously you're not gonna have much fun. However, the max horse in this game is a beast. With diamond horse armor, this thing will basically never die, and it is extremely satisfying to just roam around the world with one of these. So, how do you get a max horse? When you breed 2 parent horses, the child's stats are determined by averaging the 2 parent stats and then applying some random variance. By repeatedly breeding better and better horses, you will eventually end up with a max horse. Even further, horses can also be bred with a donkey to get a mule, which instead of horse armor, can be equipped with a chest. Mules are usually worse than horses stat-wise, but I've always loved the idea of putting a chest on them. An extra 15 slots when exploring goes a long way. And I'ma be honest, it's way cooler to have it in the form of a pet mule than a stupid purple box. Well, actually, it can be dyed in different colors. Overall, although max horses and mules are much worse than the elytra, I've always thought that getting one is a pretty cool side quest. Next up, the camel. The camel can only be found in desert villages, and it is literally just an alternative to the horse. It can dash instead of jump, it can run up 1.5 blocks instead of just 1, and it's objectively worse in every way. Bruh. Without a way to jump even 2 blocks high, the camel is simply not practical at all to travel around your world with. But I'm not here to measure practicality. I'm here to talk about how cool these useless features are, and the camel is pretty cool. First of all, the camel can fit 2 people. I love the idea of this. I loved it when they added it to boats, and it's even cooler now that there's a land version. Riding around and exploring the world with a friend will just always be fun. What makes the camel even cooler though, is its speed. Now, the intended speed of the camel is about 8 blocks per second, which is so boring, dude. It makes it hard to justify taking a camel on an adventure with a friend when it's half as practical and slower than a horse. However, the reason I'm bringing this up is because on my Minecraft world in specific, the camel moves. It goes like double the speed it's intended to, and while I have no idea why, this is just how it should be. It wouldn't make it much more practical, but at the very least it would differentiate itself a little more from the horse. So yeah, I love the design of the camel, but I think it could definitely benefit from some buffs. To finish off the transportation stuff, let's talk about minecarts. Everybody loves minecarts. I have a whole creative world with my friends dedicated to minecarts, and they're just a lot of fun to build around. There are 5 different minecarts that can be obtained in survival mode. The regular minecart, chest minecart, hopper minecart, TNT minecart, and furnace minecart. Each of these can be placed on 4 different rail types: the regular rail, powered rail, detector rail, and activator rail. Now, there is 100% a bunch of practical uses that can be found with these items. However, what I want to focus on is purely player transportation. As we know, the elytra makes actually using minecarts simply not worth it. However, unlike what a lot of people think, I also see no reason to change how they function. Maybe they could be a little faster, but even still, you could triple the speed of these things, and they'd still be slower and less practical than the elytra. So I don't really see a point in doing this. Some people would also argue that rails are too expensive, but I've never really had a problem with this. I mean, people like me generally don't have problems with expenses, so I can understand the perspective from others. The only problem I've ever really had with the minecart is that it can just be a little buggy. I mean, back to the world I have with my friends, anytime our roller coaster would get even the slightest bit complicated, the behavior of the minecart would get pretty inconsistent. It's always stopping on the edge and shit, it's annoying. Also, complete side note, but I wish old worlds didn't become super buggy after each and every update. Like, the stupid border is so ugly. Anyways, I think that's about all I gotta say about minecarts. Everyone knows they're awesome, and while they are pretty useless for travel, they're also a classic and shouldn't be changed. Alright, I think that's enough for transportation. Now I just want to get into some more random stuff. Starting with turtles. Turtles can be found on sandy shores, and when bred, instead of spawning a baby like most other passive mobs, they lay 1 to 4 eggs. They always lay their eggs near where they were born, and after some time, the eggs hatch into baby turtles. The baby turtles are super cute, almost as cute as the baby bee. But what makes them special is that once they grow into adult turtles, they drop 1 scute. With 5 scutes, you can make this awesome helmet. Their turtle shell is an extremely unique piece of armor. Not only is it the only piece of armor in the game that doesn't come with a full set, but also, it grants a potion effect. Going underwater with a turtle shell equipped gives you 10 seconds of water breathing. Although this isn't anything crazy, it's a super cool bonus to have, especially when you consider that the turtle shell isn't even a bad helmet in the first place. It provides the same amount of defense as iron armor, however it has nearly double the durability. I remember on a world me and my friends used to play, we would just use turtle shells because we like them. It's super easy to build a scute farm, and because of its high durability, the turtle shell is actually a viable helmet, even if it is outclassed by diamond and netherite. This isn't the end of the road for the turtle shell though. Not only is it a piece of armor, but also it's a potion ingredient. When used in a brewing stand, the turtle shell makes the potion of the Turtle Master. The potion of the Turtle Master gives the user either slowness 4 and resistance 3, or at 2nd level, slowness 6 and resistance 4 for 20 seconds. Just focusing on the 2nd level of it, obviously, you can't move when you drink this potion. Slowness 6 is a 90% reduction in your speed. But the resistance you get from this potion is absolutely insane. I don't think people realize just how fucking broken resistance is in this game. Just watch this. With full Prot 4 netherite on hard mode, the Warden can kill you in 3 hits. In the same scenario but with a Turtle Master potion, it takes 13 hits for you to die. The Warden's damage has been reduced from about 22.5 hearts to half a heart. I got no idea where this potion could be applicable in the real game, but it's such a cool and overlooked feature. Turtles rock, bro. I love how unique the process of getting scutes is. Their turtle shell itself is awesome, and the potion is even cooler. It's gonna be kinda hard to live up to turtles, but the next feature I want to talk about is the Sniffer. The Sniffer is the useless feature in Minecraft, and it has been shit on a lot. Before I get into all that though, I want to explain what it does. The Sniffer does not spawn naturally. Rather, you need to dig up a Sniffer egg from suspicious sand found in warm ocean ruins, aka the sandy looking ruins. It's about a 7% chance to get one for each suspicious sand, and after you place it down, it takes exactly 20 minutes to hatch into a sniffer. After the baby sniffer grows into an adult, it will sniff the ground once every 8 minutes and retrieve either a pitcher pod or torchflower seeds. These seeds can then be planted on tilled dirt, and they will grow into the pitcher plant and torchflower respectively. Personally, I like the sniffer. I think it's a fun side quest to go out and collect a rare mob and some exclusive flowers. However, the reason I think the sniffer gets shit on so much is not because it is actually useless, but rather, it's such a waste of potential. I mean, there are so many solid ideas people have come up with to add use to the pitcher plant and torchflower, and yet all we have in the live game is 2 stupid flowers. Make them glow at night. Make them have some cool mob repelling mechanic or something. I don't know. Like, I clearly have no problem with useless mechanics being in this game, but the sniffer is such a weird case where, why wouldn't you add light to the torchflower? I just don't understand it. Still, these flowers are pretty cool looking, especially the pitcher plant, and I do love my boy the sniffer. I just think there was a lot of missed potential here. Finally, I want to wrap this video up by talking about more of a category of features. Rare things and collectibles. Whenever I play survival mode, I love collecting difficult to obtain items. Now, believe it or not, Minecraft doesn't even have that many truly rare items. Even stuff like the dragon egg, sure there's only one per world, but it's not hard to get. I'm not a huge fan of collecting stuff like the pink sheep either, because you could just dye a sheep pink. The appeal of rare things for me is the flex. When I get something rare, I want it to be obvious that I got it legit. So let's just start with my favorite example of this, the blue axolotl. Axolotls spawn naturally in lush caves in 4 different colors: pink, brown, gold, and cyan. Every time you breed one, there is a 1 in 1,200 chance that the baby will be blue. This is already super rare, but what makes it even crazier is that the axolotls aren't bred with wheat or carrots or something. No, they're bred with bucket of tropical fish. In order to get a blue axolotl, you will need an average of 2,400 buckets of tropical fish. Bear in mind, for each bucket of tropical fish, you need to pick up an individual tropical fish from a coral reef using a bucket. And they don't stack. And you know what's even crazier? Your boy got one in survival mode 3 years ago. Here's what I did. Me and my friend located a coral reef and set up a big cobblestone platform above it with 12 little 2x2 water holes filled with 2 axolotls each. We then built a conduit below the platform, grabbed a shit ton of buckets, and repeatedly filled our inventories with buckets of tropical fish. We bred the axolotls into 12 units every chance we could, and while they were on their breeding cooldown, we continued gathering tropical fish, filling up double chests as we went. Eventually, we realized it would be a lot easier if we just filled a single hole with a shit ton of axolotls and just repeatedly bred them until we saw a blue one. So, that's what we did. And eventually, in a pool of golden axolotls, out peeked a little baby blue one. The blue axolotl is such a cool idea to have been added to this game. Sure, it does nothing special, but the whole process of finding a coral reef, setting up a conduit, gathering tropical fish, these are all things that I never would have done before in this game, and it is such a unique and fun challenge to do. It's crazy what just a simple resprite and some rarity can add to this game. And to me, that shit is the perfect representation of a useless Minecraft feature. Anyways, I'm not done yet. While the blue axolotl is definitely my favorite of these rare features, there are still a few others that I think are pretty cool. The brown panda is a rare variant of the regular panda, and from what I've found online, has about a 2% chance to spawn naturally. This is fine. It's not as creative as the blue axolotl, but it's still a fun mob to collect. However, much like the sniffer, the brown panda had the potential to be much cooler. You see, pandas are the only mob in this game with genetics. They have 8 different personality traits, 6 are dominant, and 2 are recessive, weak, and brown. If you don't know anything about genetics, well, here's a table from the wiki. Every panda spawns with a main gene and a hidden gene. For the 6 dominant traits, if it's the main gene, that's the trait the panda will show. For the 2 recessive traits, both the main gene and hidden gene must be that trait in order to show on the panda. The only way to get a brown panda is if its main gene and hidden gene is brown. Okay, that's neat and all, but let me ask you guys a question. Who in their right mind is going through all this when you can just find one 2% of the time naturally? I appreciate Mojang going for something new here, but this was deadass just a complete waste of time to create. The way the Panda is currently, you easily could have just made each of these personality traits show up a certain percentage of the time. Like 30% are normal, 15% are playful, etc. Nobody is out here breeding pandas, especially considering they already have some over-excessive whack-ass breeding requirements. As it stands, the Panda is the perfect example of what a useless feature should not be. But it's not unrecoverable. In my opinion, I think they should just remove natural brown pandas and make them exclusive to breeding. This way there's an actual incentive to go through all the genetic stuff, which will provide a unique experience to the player. Still, the way the genetic stuff works right now sucks. Ass. There needs to be some way to determine what pandas have the hidden brown gene, and I know that's not how genetics works in real life, but guess what? It's a video game, and it doesn't matter. Make pandas with the hidden brown gene have some sort of subtle behavior, like being able to eat leaves or something. I don't know. I do still like the panda being in the game, and adding rare variants to mobs, like the brown panda, will always be cool to me. There's just once again a lot of missed potential here. The last thing I want to talk about, that's less of a rarity thing and more just a group of collectibles, is the music discs. Just like with Minecarts, I think everyone can agree that music discs are awesome. When used on a jukebox, each disc plays its own music track. The original C418 ones are super nostalgic and actual bangers, and the new ones they've added, while not my personal favorites, are still really good and fit the game very well in my opinion. Except for Disc 5. This is just a complete ripoff of Disc 11. Stop trying to add lore to this game. It's so goofy, like we're playing Minecraft. No one gives a shit about Disc 5 or the lore. Anyways, music discs can be obtained in two different ways. Firstly, generic loot. Cat, 13, and Other Side are mostly found in dungeons and ancient cities. 5 can be crafted from 9 disc fragments found in ancient cities. Pig Step can be found in Piglin Bastions. Relic can be dug up from suspicious gravel and trail ruins. Creator Music Box can be found in Trial Chamber pots. Creator can be found in Ominous Vaults. And finally, Precipice can be found in regular vaults. These are all nice extra motives for players to explore the different structures they're found in. Nothing crazy, but it does feel super rewarding to find most of these. As for obtaining the rest of the music discs, you need to have a skeleton shoot and kill a creeper. This is by far the most random ass mechanic in this game, but I really like it. Once again, this just promotes the player to do another fun and unique side quest. It's really not difficult either. The strat me and my friend would always do is just box up a skeleton in some plains biome, lure a creeper into a hole, and then have each of us block off the ends. Maybe I'm just biased, but I've always enjoyed collecting the C418 music discs in specific, and while there are plenty of other collectibles Minecraft has to offer, I think the music discs are just the golden example of a useless collection to have. With all that being said though, I believe I'm going to call the video here. I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on some of these useless items, as I think they get a lot of criticism that they don't really deserve. People can do whatever they want, but for the past few years now, I've just much preferred playing this game without going to the end. Once you get that stacked, I feel like it's so easy to get caught up building farms and stuff, which I just don't enjoy doing at all. So yeah, I hope you all appreciate what I had to say, and feel free to let me know your thoughts on anything I had to say in the comments. Maybe you like Disc 5. I won't judge. As for the people who are more familiar with my channel, I know this isn't the usual type of video I'd post, but no worries. I still plan on posting more Terraria videos and challenges and stuff, but I also do want to mix it up a bit. Anyways, that's about all I have to say. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.